Fluent Flow Podcast. New videos every day. Let's learn English together.
Hello and welcome.
Welcome
to another deep dive. We are so happy you are here with us today.
Yes, it's great to have you listening.
Today, we will explore something that seems simple.
Very simple on the outside.
But it has a very big power.
Yes, a hidden power.
It is the everyday act of listening.
Just listening.
We will talk about listening every day with focus and with joy is the most important step for speaking English.
Fluently.
Fluently, that means speaking English very well.
Right, and very easily, like it's natural for you.
We will show you why this simple practice can change how you learn a language.
You can make your journey much, much better.
Really?
Yes.
This deep dive, it's based on some ideas from a text.
Okay, what text is that?
It's called Excerpts from Daily Listening for English Fluency.
Okay, Daily Listening for English Fluency.
Yes, this text is a guide. It is made for English learners, people who are just starting.
So perfect for beginners.
Exactly. It is written in a very clear, calm, and slow way.
That sounds helpful. It is. But the ideas in this guide, they are useful for everyone.
Oh, not just beginners.
No, not just beginners.
Yeah.
They are very, very helpful for anyone learning a language. It doesn't matter. Your current level.
I see. So the ideas are fundamental, basic for everyone.
Precisely. So it is a perfect topic. For our deep dive, we can look at it very carefully together and understand the bigger picture.
That is right. Our goal, our mission for this deep dive is clear.
Okay. What is it?
We want to go beyond just a quick understanding, you know?
Deeper than the surface.
We want to really unpack the important reasons why listening all the time, consistently, is called the most basic step for real fluency.
The foundation.
Exactly, the foundation. We want to show you how this simple practice can truly change your whole language learning process.
What can make things easier?
Yeah.
And maybe faster.
Yes! Think of this as a shortcut for you to become very well informed about a method that truly works for learning English.
A proven method. That's good.
Okay, let's start. Let's jump right in. The text we are using, it says, that listening is a big key to learning English.
A big key. Yes.
This might sound easy to understand.
Right.
We all know listening is part of language.
Of course. We listen. We speak.
But why is listening so powerful? What is the real strength inside that simple idea? Why is it so very important?
Well, what is very interesting here, and this is the main idea, really, is that we learn languages, most of all, with our ears.
With our ears, okay.
This is not just an idea from our text.
Gotcha.
The basic truth, it is how human brains are built for learning language.
So it's biological, how we are made.
Exactly. Think about it.
Yeah.
From the moment we are born, our brains start to hear sounds.
Right, from day one.
We are made to understand the sounds around us, especially the sounds of language.
Our brains are ready for it.
Yes, our brains have special parts for language. These parts become active when we hear people speak.
Okay, so hearing speech turns on parts of the brain.
That's right. These parts of the brain are designed to find patterns, to hear small differences in sounds, and to understand what sounds mean.
Patterns and differences, okay.
This basic process of hearing is the foundation, the very bottom layer for all other language skills.
Starting point?
Yes, the starting point. Without it, without hearing, other skills like speaking, reading, or writing cannot grow well or truly in a natural way.
So listening comes first, always.
Listening is the first step
Yeah.
for everything else in language.
That makes so much sense when you think about it that way. The text also uses a very good and easy to understand example to show
Well,
this.
that's the baby example.
Right. Think about babies learning their first language, their mother tongue,
Okay.
little babies. The text points out, very simply, they do not read.
No reading? Nope.
They certainly do not write.
Definitely no writing.
What do? They just listen.
That's it. Just listening for months and months.
And then, after lots of listening, they try to repeat, make sounds.
Little sounds first,
Yes.
then maybe words.
And then they listen again. It's a cycle. Listen, repeat, listen.
Yes, that cycle.
This really shows us the important idea, doesn't it? It is like we are being told to go back to the most basic way.
The most natural way.
Yes, the most natural way we ever learned. Anything complex, like language.
It is almost.
Yeah.
Like permission to make the language learning process much simpler for ourselves. Don't overcomplicate it.
Don't make it harder than it needs to be. Go back to basics.
If we connect this to the bigger picture for adult learners like you.
Okay. How does it apply to us?
This example, it shows us that our best way to learn, even as adults, might be to follow this natural process that babies use.
Mimic the baby way.
In a sense, yes. Think about it. Babies are surrounded by language all day.
True, they hear it constantly.
They hear sounds, they learn the complicated patterns in speech, they hear the small changes in how words go up and down.
That's what intonation, right?
Yes, intonation, very important.
Yeah.
And they start to understand what words mean slowly.
All from listening.
All of this happens because they listen all the time before they ever see one written word.
Wow, okay.
This first stage, we can call it passive immersion.
Passive immersion, meaning just taking it in without trying hard.
Exactly. Your brain is just taking in sounds, absorbing them without you forcing it. This is very, very important.
Why is this so important?
Because it builds the foundation. After this, come the first attempts to speak.
Why?
Like baby sounds and first words.
Okay. Listening first, then speaking attempts.
This whole way of learning is what builds the basic connections in our brains, the neural pathways. These connections are needed for strong language ability later on.
So it builds the wiring for language.
Beautifully put. It builds the wiring. This idea actually challenges many old ways of teaching languages in schools.
Have some.
Often, schools try to teach reading and writing too early, before students can hear and understand very well.
Before their listening skills are strong enough.
Exactly. Before that foundation, that wiring is properly built through listening.
Okay, so listening is primary, it's foundational. But here's something really interesting the text mentions.
What's that?
The power of small efforts. The text says very clearly, even just 10 minutes a day will help you.
Just 10 minutes.
Yeah. This seems almost too simple to be true, doesn't it?
It does. We often think we need hours of hard study, sitting at a desk for a long time.
Exactly. Long, hard study times. So why would such a short time, like 10 minutes, be so powerful? Why does it help so much?
That's a very good question. And the answer is about the great power of doing something consistently.
Consistently, mean it regularly, every day.
Yes, doing it regularly, every day. It is better than doing something for a long time, but only sometimes, like maybe once a week.
Okay, consistency over intensity.
Precisely. Why is 10 minutes so powerful? Because 10 minutes is not scary.
No, it's not overwhelming.
It is a very small promise. You can make to yourself, I can do 10 minutes.
Right, easy to promise.
This makes it very, very easy to start. And most importantly, it makes it very easy to continue for a long time.
Sustainability, keeping it going.
Exactly. Many people try to study for 1 hour or 2 hours. They feel too much pressure. And then they give up after a few days or weeks.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
The total effect, the cumulative effect of listening every day, even for short times, like 10 minutes, is much, much better than long, but not regular listening times.
So little by little adds up to a lot.
Yes, these regular short times keep your brain ready and always working with the language, active.
It keeps the engine warm, so to speak.
That's a great way to put it. It stops you from forgetting what you learned, and it helps you to grow continuously, step by step.
It's like compound interest, like with money.
Exactly, like compound interest. When you put a small amount of money into a bank every day or every week, it grows into a lot of money over time.
Because it builds on itself.
In the same way, small, regular listening times grow into strong fluency. Your brain is always making small connections, making patterns stronger and building a deeper and deeper understanding day by day, just by listening a little every day.
That's really encouraging, especially the idea that small steps matter so much.
You really do.
And thinking about that idea, the text gives us so much comfort about understanding.
Oh, yes. The part about not understanding everything.
Exactly, it says very wisely. And don't worry if you don't understand everything.
It's okay.
It's okay. Just listen again and again. Your brain will learn.
Your brain will learn.
This is very big news for anyone learning, isn't it? Because that pressure to understand every word, it's huge.
It is. It can stop you from even trying.
What does this important reassurance, this comfort mean for our learning journey? Especially when we feel that common feeling of being overwhelmed by new information.
This insight, this idea is very important for any learner. And it helps with a deep fear that many people have, the fear of not understanding.
Right. The fear of looking silly or failing.
Our brains are very good at finding and remembering complex patterns, even when we are not thinking about it consciously.
So learning happens even if we aren't aware of it.
Yes. This is called implicit learning, learning without focused effort. When you listen many times, even to things you do not fully understand, at first, your brain is quietly and slowly
learning.
What is it learning? It's learning the sounds, the phonetics, the rhythm of speech, new words appearing often, and the basic rules of grammar, how sentences are built.
Wow, just by listening, even without full understanding.
Yes, it is not about understanding everything perfectly right away. Think of it like putting together a very big puzzle.
A jigsaw puzzle.
At first, you might only have a few pieces that fit, but each time you listen, more and more pieces slowly come together. Your brain finds the connections.
So each listen adds a few more pieces to the puzzle picture.
Exactly. Your brain is like a strong machine that matches patterns. It is always trying to understand the sounds it hears to make sense of them.
It's naturally curious.
Very curious. This way of learning truly encourages a growth mindset.
Growth mindset, meaning believing you can improve.
Yes. Believing you can get better with practice. It frees the learner from the pressure of needing instant, perfect understanding, which is often a big problem, a block.
It takes away the stress.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And lets the natural learning process happen calmly, patiently.
Okay. So listen consistently. Don't worry about perfection. What else does listening do? The text mentions several benefits.
Yes, it talks about a whole spectrum of benefits.
It says that listening helps your ears, your pronunciation, your speaking, and your confidence.
That's quite a list.
It is. That is a very wide range of interconnected help, isn't it? It's more than just understanding words.
Much more, because it touches so many parts of how we communicate. Let's break it down.
Okay, let's look at each one. First, helps your ears. What does that mean?
Helps your ears. This means you develop a very good ability to hear differences in sounds.
Okay. Hearing subtle differences.
Yeah. Yes. We call this auditory discrimination. This is a very important skill. It is the ability to hear small differences in sounds, like the difference between ship and sheep.
The short I sound and the long E sound. S-H-I-P, S-H-E-P.
Exactly. Or lees, L-E-A-V-E, and live, L-I-V, different vowel sounds.
Right. Those can be tricky.
You must hear the difference first before you can say it right. It also helps you hear intonation, how the voice goes up and down.
Like in questions.
Yes. And stress, which part of a word is stronger. These things are unique to English. Listening trains your ears for them.
Okay, so better ears. How does that connect to the next point? Pronunciation.
Well, it connects directly. This trained ear directly helps. Your pronunciation. Your way of saying words.
Wow.
Because you can only make sounds correctly if you can clearly hear them and tell them apart.
Makes sense. If you can't hear it, you can't say it.
Right, exactly. If you cannot hear a sound, you cannot truly make it correctly. So better listening leads to better pronunciation.
Okay. Ears first, then mouth.
Precisely. When your hearing improves and your pronunciation is more exact, this naturally leads to better speaking, fluency, and clarity.
So the third point, better speaking.
Yes. Your words become easier for others to understand, and your speech becomes more natural, smoother, less effort.
Okay, better ears, better pronunciation, better speaking flow. What about the last one? Confidence?
And most important, perhaps,
Yeah.
as you understand, more and more, when you listen and your spoken English gets better, clearer, your confidence becomes much higher.
That feeling of, I can do this?
Yes, that feeling. This creates a powerful, positive loop, a virtuous cycle.
How does that work?
More understanding leads to better speaking. Better speaking leads to more confidence. More confidence makes you want to listen and speak more, which leads to more understanding, and so on.
It feeds itself.
Exactly. It helps you learn even more and engage more. This gives the learner those wonderful moments of aha, when they suddenly understand something new.
Yes, those feel great.
And it gives them a real, tangible sense of progress. They can feel they are getting better, which is hugely motivating.
We have now clearly understood the why, the amazing and foundational power of listening consistently
The theory, the brain science, the benefits, we covered a lot.
We know why it's the big key. Now, let's move to the practical, the how.
Okay, actionable steps.
Exactly. The text gives us some very simple but very useful ideas for putting listening into our daily lives.
Yes, and what's especially good here is that it focuses on things you can do right now, easily.
No big preparations needed.
No, these are not difficult or expensive or high-tech solutions that need special machines or special classes.
Good. Accessible is key.
Instead, they are things you maybe already do every day that can be easily changed, turned into powerful learning chances, opportunities.
I like that, using what's already there.
It makes it much easier to start. You do not need to go out of your way. You can simply change what you already do a little bit.
Okay. So what are some of these practical ways? The text lists several.
Yes. Gives a nice variety.
It suggests things like podcasts.
Like this one.
Just like this one
Yeah.
you are listening to right now. See? You are learning already.
Exactly. Podcasts are great.
Then English music.
Music, yes. But with a suggestion.
Right. Especially slow songs with clear words for better understanding.
Slow and clear helps beginners catch the words.
Then movies with subtitles.
Movies are popular. Subtitles are key here.
Yes, they give you a great visual help, seeing the words while you hear them.
Very useful connection. Sound and text.
YouTube videos, also mentioned, specifically videos made specially for beginners.
YouTube has so much content for learners now.
It does. And finally, a very important active method, repeating short phrases out loud.
Active, yes. That's different from just listening.
Right. It truly offers something for everyone, doesn't it? From passive listening to active speaking practice.
Yes, that is right. And each of these ideas has a special and important purpose for your learning journey. They aren't random suggestions.
Okay. Tell us more. What's special about each one? Let's start with podcasts.
Okay, podcasts, they offer real conversation, usually natural speech. This helps you hear. Natural speech, rhythm, intonation, how people really talk.
Not like textbook dialogues.
No, and they have many different topics. So learners can choose what they like. If you love history, find a history podcast. In simple English, maybe?
Makes it more interesting. Okay. What about slow, clear music?
Slow English music with clear words. Focuses on rhythm, stress, and pronunciation. In a way, that feels good. Emotionally engaging.
Music connects with feelings.
Yes. Music is easy to remember.
Yeah.
And words repeat. In songs,
In the chorus.
it helps you remember. Patterns, the sounds.
Good point. Repetition in songs. What about movies with subtitles?
Using subtitles in movies gives you important visual help for what you hear. It helps connect the sound to the written word.
Bridging the gap.
Exactly. This can be very, very helpful when your ear
Yeah.
is still learning to catch every sound. You can see the word you missed.
Okay. Helpful for understanding details. And YouTube videos for beginners.
YouTube videos are often for specific interests and help visual learners, people who learn best by seeing. They often have special videos with pictures or text on screen that help you understand.
Tailored content. Got it. And the last one, repeating phrases out loud. Why is that so critical?
The rule to repeat short phrases out loud is very, very important. It is the bridge.
A bridge between what?
It goes from receiving information, which is listening, to producing information, which is speaking skills.
Listening in, speaking out.
Exactly. It actively helps your mouth, your tongue, your muscles to remember how to make the sounds and words. It connects what you hear to what you can say. It makes the connection physical.
That's a great explanation. The text even gives us a small saying, a motto to remember.
Yes, a simple action plan.
A clear plan. That summarizes this whole idea. It is very simple. Listen, repeat, learn every day.
Listen, repeat, learn every day. 4 simple words.
It feels so easy to understand. But what is the real and important power behind such a simple cycle? Why is it such an effective saying for learning a language?
Well, this saying, this motto,
Yeah.
is not just easy to remember. It is also a very clear summary of the most effective and fast way to learn a language, step by step.
Break it down for us. Listen.
Listen means the input stage, taking the language in the first time you hear, and the language information comes in.
Okay. Input. Then repeat.
Repeat means the very important output
And practice.
stage where you actively try to use the sounds and words yourself. Information goes out.
Input, then output. Learn.
Well, learn means continuous process of understanding and remembering new information. Through this practice, input and output together lead to learning, making connections stronger.
Okay. Input, output, learning, and the last part, every day.
And every day
Yeah.
means the absolutely necessary part, the non-negotiable part of doing this regularly, consistently.
Consistency again.
Yes, this is not something you do one time. It is a constant cycle, a continuous feedback loop. Listen, repeat, learn, listen, repeat, learn.
It keeps going.
This active loop always makes the connections
Yeah.
in your brain stronger and helps you remember new language information, solidifies it.
It builds on itself day after day.
It is an active, step-by-step process of taking information in, internalization, and then putting it back out. Externalization, each part of the cycle makes the others stronger, building a very strong and lasting understanding.
That cycle makes a lot of sense. Listen, repeat, learn every day.
Simple, but powerful.
And building on that, the text offers a very freeing piece of advice, something that takes away so much of the pressure. We talked about pressure before.
Yes, the pressure to be perfect.
Right. It says you don't need to understand everything. Again,
Just listen and enjoy.
just listen and enjoy. Let your ears get used to English.
Let your ears adapt. Get comfortable.
This feels very freeing for anyone learning a new skill, doesn't it? So often we feel like we need to understand every single word, and it can stop us. It can make us not want to try. It feels too hard.
It really can. That feeling is a major barrier. But this clear permission to just listen and enjoy is a game changer for learners, truly.
Why is enjoying it so important?
When people feel a lot of pressure to understand every single word, their anxiety goes up very high.
Stress levels rise.
Yes, this high anxiety is sometimes called an affective filter, like a wall. And it is a big problem for effective learning. It can actually block new information from going into your long-term memory.
Wow, so stress makes learning harder.
Much harder, but
Yeah.
by letting your ears get used to English without the constant need or pressure to understand every single word perfectly, your brain can work more subconsciously, more naturally.
Relaxed learning.
Exactly. Relaxed awareness. It can naturally hear the rhythm, the patterns of intonation, the music of the language, and common groups of words, chunks, without conscious effort.
It absorbs it more easily when relaxed.
Yes. It is like learning to swim. You do not need to understand the physics of water buoyancy to get in the pool and enjoy the feeling of floating.
Good analogy. Just experience it first.
Most importantly, enjoyment gives you inner motivation, intrinsic motivation.
Meaning,
Yeah,
you do it because you truly want to, not because you have to.
precisely. This makes the whole learning process sustainable. You can continue for a long time because you like doing it.
That doesn't feel like work.
Right. And it stops the common problems of feeling tired, burnout, or giving up, discouragement, which often make people stop learning languages altogether. Enjoyment keeps you going.
Okay, so find ways to enjoy the listening. Makes sense. The text also strongly suggests setting a routine, making it a habit.
Yes, routine is very helpful for consistency.
It gives useful examples like, for example, listen in the morning while you drink your coffee,
Coffee time is listening time.
or in the evening while you walk, or relax.
Walking time or relaxing time becomes learning time.
Why is putting a new practice, like listening, into things you already do every day? So very good. For continuing for a long time, it feels like a very smart trick, habit building.
It is a very smart move. It uses psychological ideas about forming habits, often called habit stacking.
Habit stacking, stacking a new habit onto an old one.
Exactly. Setting a routine, smartly puts.
I like both.
Learning into your daily life.
Yeah.
Very smoothly, seamlessly. It smartly uses habits you already have, like drinking coffee in the morning or taking an evening walk as natural signals or cues for your new listening practice.
So the old habit triggers the new one.
Yes. You finish your coffee, you automatically start listening. You don't have to decide to listen each time. The existing habit makes you do it automatically.
That removes a barrier, the decision itself.
It greatly reduces what we call decision fatigue. You are not wasting mental energy every day on thinking, should I listen now? When should I listen?
Saves brain power.
Yes, it helps you be consistent without needing constant, hard, conscious effort. It truly changes learning from something that feels like a chore, a task, to something automatic, an ingrained part of your daily rhythm.
Like brushing your teeth, you just do it.
Exactly like that.
Yeah.
This greatly increases how often you do it, your adherence, and helps you succeed for a long time. It is about making the right choice, the easy choice.
Make it easy, make it automatic. Great advice. And speaking of easy choices and enjoyment, the text gives a brilliant and often overlooked tip, something really key for enjoyment.
Ah, yes. The personalization tip.
Right. It says, here is a tip. Choose your favorite topic.
What do you love?
Do you like food, travel, fitness? Find English audio about what you love. That way, learning becomes fun.
Fun. There's that word again.
This seems so obvious, doesn't it? Listen to things you like, but often in structured learning places like classrooms, it is ignored. Everyone gets the same, maybe boring material.
Absolutely. It's often overlooked, but it's crucial. This strategy powerfully uses intrinsic motivation, that inner drive we talked about.
Because you're already interested in the topic.
Exactly. Which, as we discussed, is the strongest reason, the most powerful driver for learning for a long time. When you're truly interested and passionate about what you are listening to, your brain becomes much more engaged, alert, interested.
It pays more attention naturally.
It is more open to new information. And you are much more likely to want to spend more time and focus on the material voluntarily.
Because you enjoy the content itself.
Learning stops being just a task and easily becomes an enjoyable activity, a hobby, something you look forward to doing.
Like watching your favorite TV show, but in English.
Precisely. This way, also make sure
Yeah.
that the words, the vocabulary, the grammar rules, and the culture you hear are immediately useful and important, relevant for your life and your personal interests.
So you learn words you will actually use.
Yes. If you love to cook, listening to cooking shows in English means you are learning words you will actually use in your kitchen or when talking about food.
Makes sense. Practical application.
This makes practical use much faster and creates more frequent and impactful moments because the new information connects immediately to something you already care about and understand in your own language, perhaps.
Okay, so we've covered finding time, making it a habit, choosing enjoyable topics. Now, let's talk about listening with a very clear focus, a deeper kind of listening.
Right. Moving beyond just passive listening.
Yes, the text tells us to listen to sounds, listen to rhythm, listen to how words connect.
Sounds, rhythm, connections.
This sounds like going beyond just understanding single words, doesn't it?
It does. It's about the music of the language.
It feels like we are moving into the real way spoken language truly works, those hidden rules that native speakers know without thinking. The flow.
Yes, that is exactly right. This is about moving far away from the perfect and often stiff, unnatural rules and pronunciations you find in English textbooks.
Textbook English versus real English.
Exactly. To understanding what the text calls real English, natural English, how people actually speak every day.
So what's the difference? How is textbook English different?
Textbooks usually show words separated clearly. Like, this is a sentence. And often words are said very, very carefully, perfectly pronounced in isolation.
Right, slow and clear, but maybe not natural.
But in real, everyday speech, words flow smoothly. They often mix together.
Blend.
Like water flowing, not separate rocks.
Good image. Yes. Sounds change a little, depending on the sounds next to them, and the rhythm, and intonation. The up and down of your voice in a sentence carries a lot of meaning.
Sometimes. More meaning than the single words themselves. Like sarcasm. Exactly. Like sarcasm, or excitement, or asking a question. Listening closely for sounds, rhythm, and how words connect means you're actively listening, tuning in to intonation, the way your voice goes up and down.
Okay, listening for the melody.
And to stress patterns, which part of a word or which word in a sentence is stronger, louder, longer.
Stress is important in English.
Very important. And to common reductions, sounds that are shortened or even disappear in fast speech.
Things that get left out.
Yes, these are the small but very important parts that make spoken English sound natural and real, and sometimes hard to understand at first.
This section, for many listeners, might truly give them big aha moments as they realize why native speakers can sometimes sound so fast or unclear.
It explains a lot about comprehension difficulties.
The text gives us some great real-world examples of how English really sounds in natural conversation to make this clear.
Yes, concrete examples are helpful.
Take the phrase, I'm going to the store. Very clear.
I'm going to the store, 4 distinct words almost.
But it often becomes, I'm gonna, G-O-N-N-A. I'm going to store.
I'm gonna, much faster, smoother.
That is such a common shortening. You hear it everywhere. In movies, songs, real life.
Very common reduction. Going to becomes going.
And it also shows how the question, what are you doing?
What you doing?
Changes into what you doing, W-H-A-T-C-H-A, what you doing.
What you, again, faster, blended.
And another one, did you eat?
Did you eat?
Becomes, did she eat? D-I-D-J-A, did ya eat?
Did ya? These language shortcuts, these natural mixes and changes are very, very important for understanding native speakers in normal conversation, aren't they?
Absolutely crucial.
If you do not know them, if you only expect the textbook forms, you can feel lost all the time, confused.
You might not even recognize the words. And these are classic examples of common connected speech events or phenomena.
Connected speech.
Very specifically, we see things like assimilation and elision. Fancy words, but simple ideas.
Okay, what are they? Simply. Gonna. G-O-N-N-A comes from going to, G-O-I-N-G-T-O. It's a common reduction or elision, where sounds are dropped or shortened. It happens. For speed and ease in speaking, it is faster and easier to say gonna.
Makes sense. Efficiency.
Whatcha? W-H-A-T-C-H-A from what are you? W-H-A-T-A-R-E-Y-O-U. Shows both. A shortening and a type of assimilation.
Assimilation.
Was that where it sounds next to each other, influence each other. They change to become more similar, or they blend to make a new mixed sound. Hear the T sound at the end of what, and the Y sound at the start of you. Blend to make a chi sound like in chair. What you owe. What C-H-A?
Ah, the sounds merge. Okay.
And Dija.
D-I.
D-J. From D-I-D-Y-O-U is another very common assimilation, where the D sound at the end of deed, and the guy's end of you, blend into a G sound, like in jump. D-U-D-D-J.
D plus Y makes J sound. Okay, that's fascinating.
The very important idea here is that if a learner only uses or expects the separate pronunciations found in a textbook, like going to or did you, sounds like gonna, or whatcha, or didya, can seem like completely different, unknown words.
Right. You hear gonna, but you're listening for going to. Confusion.
It leads to big gaps in understanding. Imagine reading going to, but hearing gonna. It can be very confusing and frustrating.
So what's the solution?
Actively listening for and finding, identifying these small changes in sounds, these connections and reductions, helps your brain to recognize them as normal, expected patterns in fast, natural speech.
Train your brain to expect gonna sometimes.
Exactly. This makes spoken English much more understandable and much less overwhelming for you, our listener. It's like unlocking a secret code to understanding real conversation.
It really does feel like a code sometimes. And the text encourages us not just to listen for these, but to repeat these same phrases, these natural forms like a gonna and whatcha.
Repeating them is key.
How does truly understanding and then practicing, saying these natural forms of spoken English directly help our own pronunciation and our overall speaking ability? Because it is one thing to hear it, but another to say it ourselves comfortably.
That's a great question. The connection is very direct. Once you work hard to train your ear to constantly hear and recognize these natural shortenings, contractions, and sound connections like gonna or didya, your brain begins to accept them, recognize them as normal, expected patterns within the English language.
Okay. Your brain learns the code.
Yes. This improved ability to hear, your auditory perception, not only greatly helps your listening comprehension, as we said, but it also naturally guides your own pronunciation to sound much more authentic, natural, and like a native speaker.
Because you're copying what you actually hear, not just the textbook.
Precisely. You are not just learning separate words pronounced perfectly. You are learning, internalizing the actual music and rhythm, the flow of the language as it's really spoken.
You learn the melody, not just the notes.
Perfect analogy. Your mouth and tongue and lips learn to move in ways that produce these connected sounds naturally, smoothly, without thinking too hard. It becomes muscle memory.
So practicing gonna helps you say it easily later.
Yes. And as text, it says so well, the end of this section, the more you listen, the more you'll understand.
Makes sense.
And the more you understand, the more confident you will be.
Confidence again. It all connects back.
It creates That powerful, self-reinforcing, good cycle we talked about. When you understand more native speech, it directly leads to more confidence in trying to speak naturally yourself.
And that confidence encourages more practice.
Which in turn makes you want to engage more, listen more, speak more, and learn deeper. This shows a direct path to speaking more naturally, more smoothly, and with much greater self-assurance, less fear.
Okay, we've talked about the why, the how, and even the what to listen for natural speech. Now, let's talk about a very important reality of learning a language.
Yes, the time factor, the effort factor.
Exactly. Learning a language takes time, as the text wisely reminds us.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
It is definitely not something that happens overnight. You don't wake up fluent one day. And for many people, that can sometimes be quite discouraging when you feel like you're not making progress fast enough.
That feeling is very common. Am I getting anywhere?
Right. Is this even working?
And this is very, very important point for any learner to understand and accept. Often people feel sad or frustrated because they think they're learning too slowly.
They compare themselves to others, maybe?
Yes, or because of the very large amount of things they still need to learn. It feels like a huge mountain to climb. They might compare themselves to native speakers or to others who started learning earlier or seen faster.
That comparison trap.
Understanding from the very beginning that learning a language is a process that builds up over time, incrementally, a long-term process that needs consistent, sustained effort over a long time is absolutely essential for managing your mindset.
So set realistic expectations.
Yes, it helps to manage your expectations. So you do not expect too much, too fast. It helps to reduce frustration when progress feels slow. And very important, it stops you from getting tired and giving up, burnout.
Knowing it takes time helps you keep going.
It reinforces the important idea that true fluency is a continuous journey, always learning, always improving, not a fixed, immediate place you arrive at all at once.
Like building a beautiful building, brick by brick, day by day, slowly and steadily.
That's a wonderful image, yes. Each listening session, each repeated phrase is another brick.
But knowing it takes time is one thing. What about those days when it feels really hard, when you're tired or busy or just don't feel like it?
The difficult days, they happen to everyone.
The text offers such a hopeful and practical, realistic message for those times, for when you feel tired or discouraged.
What does it say?
It says, but you can do it. First, that encouragement.
You can do it.
Just keep listening, the core action.
Don't stop completely.
Even when it's hard, even when you feel tired, just listen for a few minutes every day.
Back to the few minutes, even on hard days.
Yes, this is really about being strong, resilience, and being smart, strategic in how you keep trying, isn't it? It is about finding the strength to just show up, even for a little bit, even for 5 minutes.
Indeed, the instruction to just listen for a few minutes, on those especially difficult or tiring days, is very, very powerful psychologically.
Why is that small action so powerful then?
It is not about having big breakthroughs or learning a lot every single day. That's unrealistic. But rather, it is about keeping the habit going, maintaining continuity, even in a very small way, minimum effort.
Keeping the chain unbroken.
Exactly. This strategy actively prevents the complete stop in the habit that can lead to giving up completely. If you skip one day, it's easier to skip 2 than 3.
And then you stop.
It makes sure that the connections in your brain that you have built stay active, even if you're just doing the smallest amount, like keeping a tiny flame alive.
Okay. Don't let the fire go out completely.
It is an important reminder that progress is rarely a straight line upwards. You will have good days and harder days, plateaus, ups and downs, and that even the smallest, most manageable efforts, when added together, cumulatively keep important momentum going forward.
Any progress is better than no progress.
It is a big psychological victory against putting things off, procrastination, against doubting yourself, self-doubt, and against the urge to stop the journey completely. Remember, 5 minutes is always better than 0 minutes.
5 minutes is better than 0 minutes. I like that. Simple and true. And along with that idea of continuing, even when it's hard, the text gives a truly comforting thought for learners. Something to combat loneliness.
The feeling of connection.
Yes, it reminds us you are not alone.
So important to hear that.
We are here with you. This podcast is for you.
A direct message of support.
This important feeling of a shared journey and support from others or even from a resource like this is so very important, especially when doing something difficult and often personal, like learning a language. It can feel like a very lonely process sometimes.
It absolutely. It'd feel lonely,
Yeah.
especially if you are practicing on your own, maybe in your room with headphones.
Yeah.
It speaks to the basic human need for connection, for feeling that you are understood, validated, and for encouragement.
We need to feel we're not the only ones struggling.
Exactly. Learning can indeed feel isolating, knowing that you are part of a larger group of learners, millions around the world, or having supportive and regular voices like those in the text or in a podcast like this one can be a very big reason to keep going, a huge motivator.
It helps fight that isolation.
It truly fights feelings of isolation. That can happen when you study by yourself. And it builds a powerful feeling of being responsible, accountability, and having a shared goal with others, making the path feel much less lonely and maybe even more enjoyable.
It is a reminder that everyone faces challenges in learning, and that help and understanding are available. You're part of a community.
Exactly. Community is powerful.
And so, as we bring our deep dive to its end, the text brings us back to the main overall message, the core principle. It is the simple secret to success.
The ultimate takeaway.
It says, consistency is the secret. There it is again.
Consistency, the foundation.
Listen every day, repeat every day, the core cycle.
Listen, repeat, the action steps.
And then it adds one more thing. Smile every day.
Smile every day. I like that addition.
Me too. That last one, smile every day, really adds such a special and positive feeling, an uplifting touch to what is really a practical learning plan, doesn't it? It goes beyond just the rules of language. It's about attitude.
It absolutely does. This final saying, this mantra from the text, powerfully contains, encapsulates the whole idea, the philosophy of learning a language effectively and happily.
Let's break that down one last time. Consistency.
Consistency is truly, unequivocally, the necessary engine for all continued progress in learning a language. Without it, efforts that are not regular will lead to results that are not regular or no results.
Makes sense. Consistent fuel keeps the engine running. Listen every day.
Listen every day is the main continuous input you need for developing understanding, comprehension, and for hearing sounds clearly. Auditory recognition, you need that constant flow of language into your ears.
Keep the input channel open. Repeat every day.
Repeat every day is very important. Active output and practice, reinforcement you need to make your learning strong, solidify it, and to improve your speaking skills, your production. This active practice makes what you have heard strong in your mind and body.
Input and output daily. And finally, smile every day. What's the deep meaning there?
And smile every day is the part that is often forgotten or undervalued, but it is very, very powerful. It's the emotional and psychological part, the mindset component.
Attitude matters.
Attitude matters hugely. Learning should always be approached with true curiosity, with an open mind, and with joy. Enjoyment, not with a feeling of heavy work or dread or fear of mistakes.
Learn with joy, not fear.
When you are enjoying the process, smiling, feeling positive, your brain is more relaxed, more open, and better able to absorb and remember new information.
Relaxed brain learns better.
Yes, a positive emotional state maintained consistently greatly improves how your brain works, your cognitive function, making the learning process itself much more efficient, effective, very enjoyable, and in the end, much more sustainable. You'll stick with it.
So smiling actually helps you learn better.
In a way, yes, because it fosters the positive state that enhances learning. It truly represents a complete holistic way to achieve fluency, including both the careful mechanics, the rules of language, and the very important mindset, the emotional state of the learner. Tag, outro.
Wow. We have truly dived deep today into just listening.
We really unpacked that simple idea.
We have explained why consistent, focused, daily listening is not just one strategy among many, but clearly the foundational strategy, the starting point for truly speaking English fluently.
Yes, the cornerstone.
We have looked at how it is like natural language learning in babies, the huge power of small, consistent efforts. 10 minutes a day, and how it helps you to understand the small details, the nuances of real world, natural speech, moving beyond just what is in textbooks.
Listening to going and what you...
Yes, and if we connect this To the bigger picture for you, our listener, what does it all mean? It is about changing the often difficult or daunting task of learning a language into an integrated, enjoyable, and natural part of your daily life.
And making it fit easily.
Yes, this is not about adding another chore, another stressful task to your busy day. It is about making your existing activities, your coffee time, your walk, your commute, chances, opportunities for growth in English.
Finding learning moments everywhere. This path, this approach, finally leads to real understanding, authentic comprehension, and confident, natural communication, being able to use English easily and well.
So, what does this all mean for you listening right now, thinking about everything we've talked about today? Here's a final thought, a provocative thought for you to really think about, mull over, and perhaps explore on your own long after our deep dive ends today.
Okay, what should our listeners ponder?
Given that the text highlights that consistency is the secret, that key word again, and that listening every day is most important, paramount for language learning.
Consider this. How can you use this basic fundamental idea of consistent, small amounts of exposure, bite-sized input, not just for mastering a language, but how could you apply it to any new skill or important area of knowledge you want to master?
Applying the principle more broadly.
Think about how even a few minutes of daily listening or reading or practicing, whatever the input is for that skill, in any field, whether it is learning computer coding or playing a music instrument or understanding complex economics or even improving your fitness, how could that small daily input slowly but powerfully change, transform how good you are, your proficiency over time?
The power of compound learning in any area.
Okay.
Or another angle.
Alternatively, think about the advice to smile every day. The emotional component, what is the larger, often underestimated role of feeling positive, having a good attitude, and enjoying what you do, joyful engagement. How important is that to continue to sustain any long-term learning effort or any long-term goal, really, far beyond just learning a language? How much does your attitude shape your success?
Those are great questions to think about. The power of consistency and positivity everywhere.
Food for thought.
Thank you so much for joining us on this illuminating and hopefully very helpful deep dive today.
Yes, thank you for listening so patiently.
We always love having you with us. We encourage your continued curiosity, your exploration, and your use of these powerful ideas in your very own learning journeys. Put them into practice.
Keep learning, keep growing, keep listening.
And keep smiling. We will see you on the next deep dive.